Okay, so hi guys, I'll be telling you about three AWS services today, and I'll be also telling you about how you have to use all those three services to make a quick image resizing project, which I did yesterday, and I'll be telling you how I did it. So firstly, the three services that I used is AWS Lambda, S3 bucket, AWS S3 bucket, and AWS SNS. SNS is simple notification service. So AWS Lambda, first I'll tell you about all these three services individually. So AWS Lambda is just like how EC2 instance, you need a server and you need RAM, CPU and everything. You need to start the EC2 instance on your own and you have to stop it when you don't need it. Lambda is completely opposite of it. Lambda does not require any servers. It's actually serverless. You have to just write code without like worrying about any servers. So but the only drawback is it's limited to time, so you could like have a short execution of code and everything. Yeah, so you could have short execution of code in Lambda, and also it's like the pricing of Lambda is quite easy as compared to EC2 instances. Lambda is like it's automated. Like how it's automated, it's once you need more of the Lambda, it's automatically gets increased, and that is how it's like easy to use and well managed by AWS only. And apart from that, S3 bucket, as you all know, is just a storage service which is being provided by AWS. You can store as many things as you want in S3 bucket. You can make as many S3 bucket as you want in a AWS account. And yeah, so I'll tell you about how you could use SNS, simple notification service. What it does is it just sends you a notification about anything that you want. For example, you need a notification out at your email, or you want a notification to trigger some other AWS service, or you want a notification via text. So that is what SNS is used for. For example, you want email notification after every 15 minutes, so you can like trigger SNS every 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and the email notification will be provided by you. So you have to just like fill out all the basic necessities that are required to make a SNS subscription. Okay, so now how do you make a project about image resizing? Is you have to make two buckets, S3. So what image resizing is, it's like you put the image, for example 1.9 MB of image you put in one S3 bucket, and now you want to reduce the size. So once you put it, everything else is automated. Once you put an image in S3, upload an image in S3 bucket, and apart from that everything is automated. So you get an email notification on your email regarding that the image is automatically resized. So how will you do this is, you take one S3 bucket, that is a source bucket, in which you'll put your image and everything. This another S3 bucket which is a destination bucket, which is just in case if you don't want the email notification, you could have it in the destination bucket. So, and AWS Lambda, what AWS Lambda is, it's serverless. It does its code for the image resizing and everything, and then it sends the image to the destination bucket or SNS to send you a notification. So yeah, so firstly we'll make two S3 buckets, source bucket, destination bucket. We'll make a AWS Lambda. So firstly, creating two S3 bucket is fine. Creating one Lambda function is also fine. But now once you create all these three things, you'll have to provide roles for Lambda. So for that you have to go to your IAM settings, and you have to like create a role. Call it anything like a image resizer or any role, and what all three role permissions that you want in that role is, that role will be attached to AWS Lambda. And the three things that you want to like three permissions that you want in that role is, like, one is that the Lambda will be able to get images from the source bucket. So there's this role of call as S3 get object. So in that, the Lambda will be provided everything that he wants to from a source bucket. So you have to like enter the source bucket name and provide a permission of S3 get object. So that role will help Lambda to take the image from the source bucket. Another role that you want is S3 object put object. So what it does is, it's like after the image is resized, it puts the object in the destination bucket. That is all these two roles are for. Thirdly, you can or you cannot, like if you want your all these things to be maintained in a CloudWatch is like where you all see all the logs and everything, what everything is doing. So then if you want that, so you could also add a permission of, like under CloudWatch log section, you could write a permission of write CloudWatch logs, write CloudWatch streams. So what it does is everything that the Lambda will do, it will be stored in a particular CloudWatch section. So all these three you add it to the Lambda. So Lambda will have the role of getting an object, putting an object, and also storing it in a CloudWatch log. Once you have these three things in the Lambda function, there's a section provided for the code. So the default code is already written there, but if you need to change it for whatever way that you want your Lambda to perform, so you could just write your code in any language. Lambda supports Java, Python, Node.js, and every language that are available. Lambda supports most of them. So you write your code in which you will have to write how the image size has to be resized by providing all the necessary details. Then the Lambda will work accordingly. Apart from that, there's this two options that you have to attach your source bucket to the Lambda function, so that once any object is uploaded on the source bucket, the Lambda will get triggered. So there's an add trigger option in the Lambda function, so you just add your source bucket there. Apart from that, for the destination bucket, you also have to add that, but then there's an environmental variable option in that, so that why you don't add it, there's a destination object as well. Why you don't add it there? Because if you add it there, it will be hard coded. Once you add it in the environmental variable, you can change it anytime. You don't have to change every time the destination. So every time the environmental variable is getting changed, the destination is also getting changed. So you add your destination bucket to the environmental variable inside Lambda function. So this is it. Now if you want to put a SNS query, now what you could do is in the environmental variable, you make a SNS subscription. What it does is you write your email there, and you write it this a root source. What it means is, how do you want to get notified? So you select email, you write your email, and then you create a subscription. After that, there will be a message in your email box. If not, then a spam. Then you could check there and you could like confirm the subscription, and then the SNS subscription is being made. Now you have to attach it to the destination bucket, so that once the image is resized, it goes to the destination bucket, and then it also goes to the SNS subscription, so that it gets notified. So now once you add SNS subscription and destination bucket in the environmental variable, so that is set as a path to which AWS Lambda will send everything. So now everything is done. Now what you have to do is, there's a deploy code or there's a test code in the Lambda function. If you want, you could test your code and everything. Then if not, you could just upload a image on the S3 bucket. You could just wait for a minute, and also there's a configuration settings in Lambda. If you want, it is by default it is 10 seconds, but if you want, you can increase it, and if you'll increase it, you'll get to know that what that does is how long you want your Lambda to work. So you could just put it like 10 minutes you want the Lambda to work, and also the size, the default is 124 MB, but then you could increase it till 10 GB. So if you want, you could just put it like 256 MB or 1 GB, you could put it as of now, so that the Lambda has the capability of working till 10 minutes under 10 GB of work. So yeah, that is how it's done. Now the simple thing is, you'll upload a image in the source bucket. You'll wait for a minute. Now once the minute is passed, you'll see a notification coming on your email, or like in a minute or two, you'll see a notification coming in your email saying that your image is resized. Yeah. Now if you want to know how the Lambda code is, there's a template already provided by the AWS cloud of writing that code. You could just write that code, and you just have to make a few changes, such as you have to change the ARN address of buckets, you have to change the bucket name, you have to change the destination bucket name and everything, and rest everything you could just leave it like that. And that is how you could just write the code. And apart from that, yeah, this is how you'll make a image resizing cloud. So with this you just know that you use 3 services of AWS. And also if you want to know where the CloudWatch logs is stored, so you just write the CloudWatch section in the search bar, and you see CloudWatch logs, and under that you'll see that under CloudWatch logs you'll see this so many entries that is automatically made by the Lambda, and under that you'll be able to see everything that the Lambda does, how the image is resized, how it's taking the image, how it's storing the image, and everything. Yeah, so today that's all. Wanted to let you know about 3 services and how you could use all these 3 services together to make a simple AWS project. Yeah, thank you.